For a guy that had 14 points per game in 2021, 13 points per game in 2022, and was one of the most electric wide receivers in football, Marquise Brown of the Chiefs isn't being talked about enough, especially for fantasy football. And at wide receiver 32 cost, I still feel like he's being very underrated. So we're going to take a look at the film and see why he didn't produce last year and how bad his situation actually was, and kind of look at how you should be drafting him in 2024 fantasy football based on the film. Now, to kick things off, we are going to start with a jet sweep. We have Hollywood at the bottom of our screen. We're going to outline him right here. And we're going to go and see what this play develops into. We obviously have Josh Dobbs back there as well, so this is early in the year. And even though Hollywood is only 27, it seems like he's been in the league for quite some time, but he still has that juice. And let's see this kind of trick play. They're going to go all the way around, give it to Hollywood. Decent blocks in front of him, but he definitely has the space to make guys miss. Now we see this block get set up there. I believe that's James Conner. And Hollywood's going to get that nice vision and cut back right to where he needs to. Just cut right in front of that James Conner block. Follow his blocks upfield. Yeah, kind of run right behind 72. Cut to the outside. Make pursuit, and get a ton of yards on that play. Now, really, here's an example of where bad quarterback play is going to lead Hollywood astray. We have Josh Dobbs back at center, and we have Hollywood at the left side of our field. And we're just going to play from here. Let's see what he does. It's honestly not a bad route at all. So he's going to cut upfield, and Josh Dobbs just takes it 3rd and 9. So this has to be a more developed slant, right? You can't just snap throw this right away. Hollywood makes a nice cut. The cornerback reads it pretty well. So at that point, you see the cornerback cutting down. You have to hang on to that ball a little longer. There is no chance. He throws it completely behind Hollywood. Hollywood has the right idea where Hollywood sees this guy committing. He kind of just has to just block it out. Stands no chance. But again, that just kind of goes to my point that a lot of Hollywood's targets were completely uncatchable. Obviously, he had on the year 101, but only 51 receptions. There's going to be plays like this littered all over his film. Well, they're just trying to give him the ball in space, and Josh Dobbs just is telegraphing his passes. It's a one-look read, and it just falls incomplete constantly. Now, here's a play where we have Hollywood working on the outside, and he's going to go just take his man, and it's going to be a nice little comeback concept. Dobbs, 1st and 10, clean protection in the pocket. He looks him down all the way, so he's lucky that Brown got a ton of separation. But as you guys can see, he kind of just completely burned his guy right here, and he is just coming back to the ball right at the spot. And that's 10 yards down the field. He's going to go try and pick up the 1st down, and he catches it. So nice big gain, big pickup. But again, we are seeing the quarterback play of Josh Dobbs. He's just one-looking him all the way, and it's really the only way that these passes are getting completed is because Brown is just getting so much separation, like on that deep comeback. He's bringing him all the way down and then coming back to the sticks and getting 10 yards off of that when realistically he probably could have done a lot more had Dobbs got the ball out faster. Now, we looked at a failed slant, but here's a successful one. Here we have Brown lined up on the outside. We're going to watch this play out, and we have Dobbs under center, 3rd and 5. So, exactly what I mean. This is a more manageable situation. And first off, he's starting by looking to the left first, progressing through his reads. He looks Trey McBride. Honestly, he would have been an okay throw, Michael Wilson or McBride, but he comes back to Hollywood. He is looking for that number 1 target on the field. And Hollywood, again, let's wind that back just a little bit. But Hollywood bursts off the line, gets a nice little cut. Not the smoothest route, not the best cut ever, but he has more than enough space because Dobbs actually did a good job looking off him instead of just letting the cornerback completely read his eyes and pull right there. Now he's going to face some contact. And here's where we want to see the smaller receiver actually go up and make a catch. So Brown does a good job running a good enough route to get in front of him. 3rd and 5 at the sticks. Boom. Nice play. That's even 5 extra yards. So that's a 10-yard gain. And what I really like to see out of Brown is him getting physical, him going up and get the ball, and it's a good quality target, and that's where he's coming down with the ball. Josh Dobbs wasn't giving him it often, but once it's right on the money, on his tape, you will rarely see Brown miss those kind of catches, and that's his bread and butter. So here's a little bit of a dig. We have Brown on the outside, and it's 3rd and 7. So Dobbs is obviously going to be looking at his number one target to pick up these yards at the sticks. We have Hollywood running on the outside, and let's see what Dobbs does here. He gets a snap. He's not just staring down Brown the whole way. So Brown has time. He kind of runs up the field. He makes it look like it's going to be a go route, but then he comes back to the line of scrimmage or to the sticks and just stops right for a little simple, I believe it was a curl route, maybe a dig route. But yeah, you see Hollywood have so much separation against his guy, and that's what he possesses. He has the ability to beat you deep, but he can really just come back and break those routes on. A little curl right there, just get you 7 yards at the sticks, keep the offense moving, and into next year, we're going to see that a lot. Now, this play stood out to me because Marquise Brown is lining up in the backfield, and this just kind of speaks to the creativity that Andy Reid is going to deploy. Obviously, the Cardinals don't have the best coaching staff in the world. I don't think that's a secret. But if they're able to use him in this light, I did see them getting creative with Brown a good amount. This very much reminds me of that one McCole Hardman touchdown. I'll show you guys what I mean. But it really makes me happy that Brown has been using creative ways in the past, and I fully expect that to continue. Here they're just trying to manufacture him a touch around the goal line and just let him go to work. So you can see he kind of just runs a simple flat route, just give him the ball, and he's just going to use that speed and just get right into the end zone. So yeah, that's what I mean. That reminds me of McCole Hardman and that one play that Andy Reid would love to run for him and ran him in the Super Bowl. And I could definitely see him being utilized in that, red zone role where they just have him all over the field. He is going to be a weapon for the team. So here's a play where we have Marquise Brown lined up on the outside, and they're just putting him on a go route on 3rd and 11. Here's something that he is going to be much, much better on the Chiefs with. Obviously, you have Josh Dobbs here, just takes his drop back, and just throws that ball into double coverage. There's just no reason that this pass ever should have been thrown. That's basically, he didn't catch that, but that's an interception 9 times out of 10. So he's just lucky that wasn't picked off. But when you have a better quarterback and you have a better coach, they're not going to be putting him in just situation to fail like that. So here's just another play where Brown creates a ton of separation, but it's just not a very good throw. You see Dobbs come down. It looks like it's a little comeback route, and he has to leap for it. But Brown is just so good at those kind of curl routes because, like I said, he has the speed to take the top off the defense, but he can also just come back and break on a dime and just drop you down for 15 yards, which is what makes him such a good receiver and why the Chiefs are going to be so excited to have him because not only can they utilize him deep, but they can pair him kind of as almost like a decoy, put him next to Xavier Worthy, and then have Worthy take the top off where we have, Marquise Brown act like he is, and then just come back, pick up these chunk yards, keep the chains moving. He is going to eat in the intermediate part of the field next year. Here's a play where I can tell the outcome would be a lot different. Brown's at the bottom of your screen, but if you're getting to play with a guy like Mahomes, who is just going to give you the ball and the money, here, it's a good concept. You're throwing it from your own end zone, 1st and 10. It's a slant. But that ball, if he gets in the ball in stride right there, I'm not saying it's going to be a big play, but he has a few steps. He can make a cut on Stephon Gilmore, and he could possibly turn that into big yards because you guys see, he's falling down, and he's still a sizable distance away from the first down. Now, instead, you give him the ball in space, you let him do what he does best, and you let him make a move on Stephon Gilmore, that's possibly a touchdown, or if not, a massive gain. Shout out Josh Dobbs for this throw, though. You have Brown working on the outside, and on 3rd and 8 from your own 5, he just throws a beautiful back shoulder fade to Marquise Brown, and he does a great job catching it, showing concentration, and just getting his feet in bounds. Absolutely beautiful catch from Brown. And that's something that obviously when you're working with a subpar quarterback, you have to have that connection on point. But Brown's did a great job focusing on the ball, getting his release, and then tracking it all the way in. I think his tracking skills are very, very good and very underrated in my opinion. Here's a play where we have Brown working around the end zone, and he's just going to line up right here. They're going to try and get him on a little simple dig route, and that's where he's going to be used best in space. I think around the red zone, they're going to find a way to implement him, and he just uses his speed. Burns right through, kind of a little bit of a pick play, but he just gets to a spot. It's a tough ball, but he goes down with a man draped on his shoulder. He goes down and catches it. Great concentration. So for a smaller guy, Brown really impressed me being able to kind of just like fend off his defenders with his body, and I thought he looked really good in that aspect. Not all this tape is good though. You have Brown working in this area. He's right there. And you have Dobbs just trying to hit him on a classic slant route, and he gets the separation and he just drops it. So he's definitely not the perfect receiver. He has struggled with drops in the past. However, I will say for the most part, it kind of seems like this is behind him. It's never really been a big deal on tape besides that. But I will say, obviously, when we're looking at film, we want to look at the negatives as well. And that is an issue that kind of just doesn't allow him to be a truly elite receiver because he doesn't have the best hands in the world, even though he did impress me a bit like I talked about with his contested catch ability. He needs to be able to haul in the layups, though. With Brown working on the outside, here is a ball that when he is going to be on the Chiefs this next season, this is a throw that Mahomes makes all the time. Not Josh Dobbs, though. Slowing down. He has his man beat enough. There's no shot on earth that Josh Dobbs is ever making that throw. Mahomes, though, I really think that he had enough space and separation to where Mahomes can just loft that ball in a bucket. And Brown, with what I'm seeing on tape, it seems like on those type of balls where he has just enough separation, has good enough position where he's in front of his man, would be able to kind of almost box him out and just throw his hands out there and just reel that deep ball in. Obviously, Dobbs has no chance of making that throw, but a guy like Mahomes, that kind of goes into from a target and an incomplete pass to a 40, 50-yard touchdown. That is a massive difference, and those just small quarterback plays are what's going to change Marquise Brown's 2024 fantasy football outlook.